Today, Ember is actually at an amusement park with her grandfather and her cousins. So we're simply going to talk about when and why and how to cage your tomatoes. First of all, the droopiness of the potatoes doesn't mean that the potatoes aren't doing well. It just means that they're coming to the end of their lifespan, and when they fully die, that's when you harvest your potatoes. Now, the garden has not been watered today. And as you can see, I'm working with a very rocky soil. Now, most people will cage up their tomatoes to keep them off the ground. It's a misconception that if you let your tomato plant touch the ground, it will kill your plant. However, tomato is a vine, and wherever it touches the ground, it will grow roots. So if you let your suckers grow off of it, which are the little branches that come off of the main branch, and you bury it really deep, so long as you take the leaves off so they will not decompose, you'll have more roots, thus producing in a healthier plant. Now, because I didn't have the luxury of having the suckers when I planted my tomatoes, I simply am going to have to cage them, as I do not have enough dirt for them to make more roots, and they are too high. So because my plant is going to become top heavy, I'm going to have to cage this one here in the middle. You can also cage your tomatoes if you don't have the space for them to sprawl out. It'll save room in your garden. However, you don't have the added benefit of allowing your plant to get more roots as it goes along. This one over here doesn't have many suckers. I got my first sucker starting right here. If I can zoom in, that is my first sucker on the entirety of that plant. However, this black net that I have around the garden, it has decided to use to help support it. It's grown in and out of it over here. So I'm not going to need to cage this one, as it has support to hold itself up. And I will be getting the cage and putting it on. When you cage your tomatoes, it's best to do it when they're smaller, as you may damage the plant putting it on. And while I have you here, I do believe, let me zoom in, I do believe we're coming to a head on the cabbage. I'm hoping that it is not too hot and that it does not decide to bolt. So we'll be back once I get the cage. Now, if you look really carefully at the leaves, I do believe these are called whiteflies. One of the best ways to get rid of them is with soapy water, as they're outside. However, if they're inside, you want a kill on contact organic solution to spray on the plants, as they do not have natural predators inside. Although I wanted to show you the vining of these strawberry plants. They set out runners And the runners make little strawberry plants as they go along. All from the mother plant. The first year you don't get strawberries, but that's okay. This is a wild strawberry or something related to it that I put in here as I had an empty spot and I wanted to see how it would grow. However, next year, when I get all my strawberries going, that's coming back out. I transplanted that from the yard on the other side of the driveway over there. Now, being the sweetheart that my father is, he went out and ordered me a tomato cage. And this little box is how it came. If you go to the store, you could, most of the time, get the tomato cages already put together. Or a single piece tomato cage. So I'm going to look for the instructions as to how to put this together, and I will be right back. So I'm not going to fully assemble the cage currently, as I still have to put it around my tomatoes, and my tomato is larger than I would like to put in the cage. However, it's nice getting extra parts from the company. However, when you send extra parts, you should let the people know that they're extra parts because it makes them feel they did something wrong, and they go over the instructions a few times. Now, this was not that difficult to put together once I got the hang of it. The instructions were absolutely impossible to interpret without looking at the pictures. So it took me maybe 10 minutes to do as much as I've done so far. Now we're going to move from the shade back into the sunny garden. Now I've jimmy rigged you with some of my stones. I'm about to enter the garden. I really should make a gate, however, that requires more materials. I'm going to take my pieces, I'm going to gently place them in my garden bed. Okay, now I have the first piece. And I'm going to place into the ground next to my tomato. I'm going to take the second piece and do the same thing. However, I'm going to size it so that the pieces go together, as it's just supposed to snap together. Like that. Also, going to pull this up. Now this definitely beats slipping the cage over the tomato. However, I prefer a more solid tomato cage, personally. Now, you want to be careful when caging a more mature tomato. You might already have fruit on it. All that smell. Try and even this out as best I can. However, that is caging my tomato. really hope that you were able to see that. All I did was assemble it around it. Now, because tomato cages are smaller at the bottom and wider at the top, it's best, if you're going to cage your tomatoes, to let them grow up in the already existing cage. So as soon as you plant them, put it around them. Now, I don't think I'm going to get tomatoes quite yet because these are male flowers. And I do not see any female flowers forming. So hopefully that will happen soon. Now, while I have you out here, I'm going to show you the peppers up close and personal. Right here is one. Down there is two. Here's three. And here is four. See, 4 and 3. And then the garlic, if you can see, is coming up nice and strong. However, the amount of rocks in this garden is concerning as to harvesting the potatoes, which I will be doing soon. But for now, it's time to put the fence back up and water the garden.